The gift of life is a very special gift to all of us, because who is the giver of life but God himself?
We are designed by the ultimate creator, and we're designed so beautifully and perfectly that we're meant for goodness.
When I think about culture of life, I think about how it's a part of the Catholic social teachings, right? From conception to natural death, every life is valued. And I think in our society, it's unfortunate to see how that sort of deteriorated over time.
We have a culture of death in this country, in this world, but especially this country. And we need to change the culture. And to do that, we have to change people's hearts.
We can help people in many different ways, the most vulnerable, those who are sick, those who are in prison. But if we cannot recognize who they are as made in the image and likeness of God, then we've lost the understanding of the importance that God is here and God is in the face of each individual.
Any person, man or woman, but needs to know how much they are loved by God. They need to know that they have a beautiful worth in Him and that He loves them and that they are not alone on this journey.
Life is a gift. It truly is.
Yes, in the Gospel of John, we hear that Jesus says He came to give us life, but not just life, life abundantly.
Every single person has a purpose in life, like even short as it can be, there is an ultimate purpose. And ultimately, it's God's will.
Every life should have the chance to live, to grow, to change if it's necessary, or to pay for what they've done, but pay for what they've done while alive.
All of us have something that we do outside the walls, whether it's in the hospital or in the prisons or at the food pantries. And that's where you really live out your vocation, is with the people. So bringing the gospel to the inmates is really living out that call of Christ the servant.
Culture of life isn't just abortion. It's people living a dignified life, people having employment, elderly having what they need.
And to anyone who has ever experienced an abortion, I want you to recognize that you are loved, that there's always an opportunity to receive mercy, healing. There's no sin that is greater than God's love.
I never met anyone who was in such difficult circumstances, distressed, painful relationship, homeless. It opened my eyes to how there is such a darkness around this moment sometimes for people that they entertain any option. They can't see God in it in that moment, and they've lost all hope.
And so it's about how do we embrace that family and walk with them to try and overcome the hurdles that are going to be in their way.
I think about the times when people are confronted with the possibility of having a child with a disability and getting that diagnosis and wondering what that future is going to be for their loved one. Having that opportunity to walk with those expected parents who are worried and making decisions at that point, where they've been able to come to Bishop Grady Villas and to see how our residents are thriving. Really, you can see that fear kind of fall away from their eyes.
Everyone is a child of God, and everyone has special gifts, special abilities, and even our brothers and sisters who have developmental disabilities have special abilities that God has given them. I'm very proud of Magnify and the work that we do, and I'm very proud that in the Diocese of Orlando, we have a place like this where we can put our faith into action.
It's a great sanctifier too, to be taking care of someone who is sick, whether it be with mental illness or a physical illness. It's a great sanctifier because they're so vulnerable.
And the most important thing for us as Christians is that we don't run away from suffering, rather we enter into our suffering.
My best friend, she died of neuroblastoma. Even if you are sick, say you have like a terminal illness, even through every single aspect of that illness, there is a moment where you can find Christ and be either, you could be healed, or you can go through with the suffering that you're going through with a hope that there is a purpose behind all of this.
I have parents who are older in different stages. My mom has memory issues, significant. And I think what the Lord has shown me there is to just be present, because there is such joy in the moment.
We can hope and then we can trust that even though I find myself in a difficult situation, that Jesus has already won the victory. And so we find our hope in Him who has loved us from the beginning.
He teaches us that this life is going to be hard. He doesn't promise that it'll be easy. He promises that navigating it well will be worth it. Pick up your cross every day and follow me.
It's very sad to see people who don't have the perspective of life as we do, the dignity of life that I see, but there was an opportunity for me to pray for them.
I think when you're given the gift of being a mom, and me in particular, I've had 2 miscarriages. So when you know and you've experienced the gift of life, I think you just fervently want to protect it.
I think me being a new father, it opens myself up to God's mercy more. He reminds me that all that I'm doing is making sure that I can guide my daughter to heaven and guide my family to heaven.
Ask the Lord to guide you in prayer. Where is He calling you to speak or to serve, to be present for someone and to listen so that you can help them more fully understand His vision for life.
I think it's important for each Christian to recognize that they are the defenders of human dignity. Jesus came to save humanity, and we're called to participate in saving humanity with Him.
It's about growing. It's about changing. It's about believing.
When you look at even all the saints, like all the saints, in their individual lives, they had to stand out wherever they were. Being true to Christ, you have to stand out and be strong and bold. And don't be afraid to be different, because you're doing God's work, period. And that's it. And He will take care of the rest.
To enter into that denial of self is how we become closer to Christ. Because the less we think about ourselves, the more room we have for Him. And the more that we allow Him to be in our hearts and in our minds, then the more that we can give Him to others.
The Lord really chooses you and accompanies you in every single moment of your life, from the good to the bad to even the ugly. I think more than anything, it's always centering our gaze towards Him.
Being able to say no to yourself and having that almost like self-control to think of others is huge, because ultimately that helps develop good character, good Christian character.
Don't ever discount the power of prayer. And we have a Mass for Life out there. It's beautiful. And I can tell you, those prayers change hearts. It's the prayer, it's the Lord that touches the hearts of someone who is in difficult decisions, always, regardless of what the decision is, that will bring them back to Him.
The beautiful thing about this Mass is it begins with a rosary. They'll pray for individuals who have been trafficked. They've prayed for the immigrants. They pray for the sick and the elderly.
To me, is at the heart of who we are as Catholics. It's the dignity of every life. And so to have students celebrate a Mass that celebrates life with our bishop, with our pastors, it couldn't be a more beautiful reflection of our faith and our commitment to our Lord Jesus Christ.
The Mass for Life is genuinely a Mass that makes you reflect on the people that you love the most.
When you start changing your life for others, things are different. You start becoming transformed, and really and truly, it's all a grace from God.
The Mass is the ultimate form of prayer. So if we can begin our year going to this Mass, praying for the protection of life, receiving what the Lord has for us, and then going out throughout the rest of the year to advocate for life in our communities and in our parishes and in our homes, the possibilities are endless.
Be courageous. You were not called to live in this world. You were called to live in eternity with God.